More magnetic pictures showing vortex to rollover halo wave. Again, plant growth, vortex to rollover halo wave. This, of course, is the video the true king wears flowers in his hair. Yeah. An energy ejection has a crown on top, and that's why the king wears a crown. This is from Base Code of the Universe, a scientific paper studying magnetic vortex rings. And as we see, vortex to rollover halo wave. Every single medium of matter or gases does this. This, of course, was the 3D rendering of about 300 pictures of a rotating magnet, which again shows two lumps. This is the vortex, the rollover halo wave that creates these, and they are all interlinked. Now, many more of my videos can be found on my page. Every single one of them talks about vortex to rollover halo wave, and then it goes to either halo sphere, or if there's a continuous flow, it will become a laminar flow of vortex wave, vortex wave, vortex wave. That's how you get a standing structure of, say, a plant. That is a laminar flow of energy that constructs the whole plant. And finally, here we are at the words of God from Habakkuk 3:4. God is as the light, which means he's electricity and magnetism. And from his hand, horns protrude, vortex to roll over halo wave. And this is the hiding of his power. Energy is invisible until it meets matter. I'd like to thank God through these trying times that I've had for showing me, even when my spirit is waning, he comes along and he slaps stuff in my hand. Science has finally caught up with me. They still don't know how this vortex to rollover halo wave will interact with another halo wave, because they think it's some kind of torus. It is not. It is constructed from thousands of T-shaped halo waves. These all join together. That's why when you pour water onto a plate, it will form an Ouroboros ring. But you will be able to see every strand, as I've shown in videos of my own, of all these leaders which rotate left and right and create a magnetic field shape, the flower of life, with an Ouroboros sphere. And that's what's going on with the electric charge distribution. Now, because that's what I'm like, I'm going to show that Theoria Apophasis has just changed his theory to mine and this again. I believe he read it the other day. And why do I believe that? Well, let's have a listen to his words and see what he did believe, and now how he's changing his story. Now, on Theoria Apophasis' Vortex of Life and Nature's Secrets, he talks about how he believes that a torus is actually a vortex. We're going to hear about that in a second. But first, here's his words. His book update, The Hyperboloid Torus, Uncovering the Missing Secrets of Magnetism. Basically, as we can see in that picture, his torus and his hyperboloid, a hourglass figure, he has always maintained that they are separate. Do you reckon he's changed that view now that he watched the electron distribution charge?
Up with a hyperboloid. So the sphere defining space and divergence, what would define counter space and convergence? And here we have the hyperboloid. So how do we tie the two together and take a genuine look at what defines counter space and space, i.e. dielectricity and magnetism? Well, we have one single formation. We have the toroid here, and we have the hyperboloid right here, both defining two different geometry. Now, this is non-Euclidean geometry.
So you all heard that, right? He said they're all two separate entities, and he even drew it as two separate entities. We've all seen mine, vortex to roll over halo wave, and then they all intertwine like petals on a leaf. That picture, though, that you just saw, was not what I draw, and it is not a distribution charge that came out of a electron. Looks nothing like it. Now, Theoria likes to use a lot of word salad. But here he is talking about more vortices and toroids. So let's hear him now take his torus, which is not linked to his hyperboloid, and let's hear him turn it into a vortex.
We were actually able to see light three-dimensionally, and of course everybody looks at it two-dimensionally. It's like, well, here we have, transverse electrical magnetic, and, here we have the presumed photon. Of course, there's no such thing as a photon. That's a conceptual abstraction of the rarefaction of the coaxial circuit that is light. But if we're able to see it at a set frequency or wavelength, light, of course, is toroidal. And the rarefaction, of course...
Now, I've shown the travel of light, and it goes vortex to Ouroboros, ring, and back to vortex. And that's how magnetism works. That's why you have rings around electric lines. That magnetic field and then the electric. Yeah, that's an Ouroboros torus field.
Since the smaller the space, the higher the capacitance, which is completely contrary to human existence. A larger box holds more stuff. Something bigger is always more powerful. And everybody loves... These are two huge things that people love to talk about that they have no idea what they are. They love to talk about the golden ratio. So what's a spiral? And the other thing they like to talk about is vortexes. There's so many New Agers out there. They love to describe and point to beautiful images of vortexes. It's like, well, what is a vortex? Well, I don't really know. I tried to...
See, I've already explained what the vortex is in detail on many videos.
Because to make things simple is to truly comprehend them. And you can describe things all day long and show them to people, and that impresses them because they're super...
This is what I mean by word salad. See, my videos are like 5 minutes long because I tell you exactly what I mean to. Theory will spend 20 minutes talking you in and out of rubbish.
Official. But if you can actually explain it, and explain it in simple, then you truly understand it, because descriptions are not explanations.
He's now going to give you a description.
And of course, the nature of existence and that of natura naturans, or nature, is that of a vortex. But we're only seeing one side of the vortex. It's kind of looking top down on a donut.
So yeah, he's been looking at the electron charge.
Yeah, we see that. It's like, well, there's a vortex. And of course, it looks like a depression. If you would imagine a toroidal shape with a smaller hole at it, it actually centripetally spires inwards. But
why does it? Because it's a donut. You just said it was a donut. See how he's trying to... It spirals inwards. Here comes the vortex, everybody, that he never had before.
What? Towards what? Not towards the other side. The energy vortexes spiral towards the plane of inertia, or to counter space. And
which is where? Which is where, Ken?
And of course, counter space is really a rather a BS term.
A bit like your work.
I shouldn't say counter space, but what else are we going to replace it with? Subspace, 0.8...
Space, mate. There's only matter and space.
Energy. The ether, of course, is more appropriate. But when you say the ether...
I'm sorry, everybody. The word salad is incredible. Trying to find the actual facts.
You don't think of it as a term, as a destination, because a vortex is a torus. Like, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense.
Oh, there we go.
The ether, you don't think of it as a term.
So here we go. He's now going to turn his torus, which he's always described as a donut, into a vortex.
As a destination, because the path up is exactly the same as the path down in the nature of existence. And
whatever that means.
But anyway, a vortex is a torus. Like, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't, because you've already said that a torus and a hyperboloid are two separate entities on a magnet. I'd like you to notice that people like Theoria Apophasis and Angry Catfish Briggs always say the facts after the time they were already released. It's always after the fact, whereas I did all this 7 years ago.
If you actually think about a toroidal shape in simple, a toroidal shape, of course, is just a conjugate vortex.
Whatever that means.
Double vortex. Think about...
Now it's a double helix vortex too.
About that for a second. We take the plane of inertia along the toroid, the torus shape. Either side of course, is a vortex. And a torus is just a conjugate vortex. But wait a minute.
So, we're all done here. As you've just heard, he's gone from a torus and a hyperboloid to now the torus is a vortex, which of course is all I've ever said. And everybody has disputed me and everybody's thrown out their own theories. But God has shown that science has finally caught up with me and him. God is the most awesome of gods. He's the only God. And he gives out information so that we might all come to a knowledge and understanding of the true God. Men like this another blustering blowhard who talks and talks and talks but doesn't actually say anything, but will go back again and have a listen to him change his theory from hyperboloid and torus to torus is a vortex, which makes it a rollover halo wave. There are many things I've had to correct Theoria on. He now has two leaders in an S shape that construct his torus, but now it's a vortex.
The force geometry of magnetism. If you actually think about a toroidal shape in simple, a toroidal shape, of course, is just a conjugate vortex.
And that's all we need to hear, because we've all seen your pictures and your books, your free books, and they're free because obviously they're all wrong, as you are now trying to skid away from. Your torus and hyperboloid are trashed forever because the electron charge distribution is a trumpet, a vortex to rollover halo wave. Thanks very much for listening, everybody. Obviously, God is an epic God and gives knowledge away freely, as I have. Is there any more to do? We've got down to the subatomic level and it's everything I always said it was. I'd like to thank God for being awesome and having mercy upon me, a massive sinner, and allowing me to say all these things. Thanks very much. My name is Lee. I follow the Christ, and I've shown you everything he's shown me. And again, science has finally caught up.